Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of a Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and this week we have an interview with our good buddy James from the JRPG Report. He joined me, I believe it was last Saturday, to talk some Dragon Quest XI. And since we are switching up the release days for the podcast and making them Thursdays, and this interview ended up being almost an hour long, I figured I would just release it as its own thing to start off the new release day. So you're getting 2 episodes this week, but it will be back to your normal one by next week. And next week will be the Dragon Quest XI wrap-up episode, and then we'll be moving on to Blair Witch. Ooh. So I just wanted to do a little intro for this because the normal intro wasn't on this, because I expected to put this at the end of the next Dragon Quest episode, but after reviewing the length of it and all that, I figured it stands on its own, man. So without further ado, thank you all for listening. There's not going to be any stuff for the show at the end, I'm pretty sure. I think I have James plug his stuff. But if in case I don't remember and didn't, check out the steammachinepodcast.wordpress.com. Click the Discord link, come join our Discord, vote on what games you want to hear, man. Do all that stuff. You can check out the social media from there, or you can actually listen to the podcast episodes themselves on there if that's how you prefer. But yeah, enough of me rambling. Here is James from the JRPG Report. Joining me now is our resident JRPG expert. I asked him to come on and give me his opinions on Dragon Quest XI, because obviously we cannot do a JRPG game without hearing from the JRPG Report man himself, Mr. James Fisher. James, how you doing today, buddy?
I am well, sir. How are you?
I am tired, but I'm good.
I'm glad. You told me you had started that JOB this week, but I was like, I still want to go on the show. I didn't want to pester you, but it worked out pretty good with you having a day off today.
Yeah. When I was at work yesterday, and Nick's like, "Hey, by the way, you're off tomorrow." I was like, "Perfect, perfect. Everything seems to be lining up well here." I'm waiting for that inevitable crash, but that's just the pessimist in me.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. I feel like I'm contractually obligated every time you cover a JRPG, but that's okay. I love coming and talking to you.
It almost feels that way, right? Almost feels that way. So Dragon Quest XI, man, I know you hold it in high regard. What was your first experience with this? When did you first play it? What were your first thoughts? Were you hyped for it?
Just a little bit. Yeah, I am your old school JRPG player. That was my first love, was Dragon Quest 1. Way back in the day. I won't age myself too much, but as a wee lad growing up and learning how to read on Dragon Quest was not exactly easy, but back then things were a little different. But yes, so I've been playing my entire life, and when this came out, Japan was 2017, so we got it in 2018. I was very much looking forward to it. Obviously 10 did not come over here. It was online only in Japan. So between the 3DS number 9 and 11 was quite a span to have to sit there and wait. And I was kind of left a little disappointed with 9. It was very different. 8 was groundbreakingly amazing. So I was very hyped and ready for it the first time around on PlayStation 4. And then when this definitive version came to Switch, I don't know if you remember me on the podcast or not, but I was kind of upset about it.
Yeah, I remember you being a little butthurt about it, yeah.
I feel like obvious for good reason. It felt like we got a version that was amazing. Don't get me wrong, but then the Switch got the better version of it, and then 2 more years or whatever until it finally makes its way to PlayStation 4 again, PC, and Xbox. But after playing it again and paying, all that money, I got it on sale, not after a release, so I don't feel quite as butthurt about it. But it really is the best version. Like, I think there's that small difference in graphics, but overall, and especially if, I guess from your perspective, there is no really lack in graphical quality. But man, it's even better, and I could not be happier playing it all over again.
Yeah, so like, I want to touch on Dragon Quest IX because I want to get I've never played it, so I want to hear what's different about it. But first, I want to say that like, there's this weird thing in the PC world where there are people who prefer the original version of it because it looks better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's slight, but it is definitely better, the original.
But I think that the amount of content that was added in the or the definitive edition or whatever outweighs the graphical like betterness of the original release. Now, I will also say that I think it's kind of fucked up that if you owned the game on PS4 that you didn't get that for free or like a discount, like an upgrade type thing. That's kind of shitty, but
it is, but it's standard.
Yeah.
How long have we been getting definitive editions and paying all over for it again?
A long time.
A long time.
I think they went from Game of the Year editions to definitive editions, and now you get like pre-order bonuses and all that bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, like I guess your Game of the Year editions are for your Call of Duties and stuff like that. It's got all the content. But yeah, if you have a JRPG in particular, you're going to get a definitive edition of it at some point in time.
Yeah. Now, I've dabbled in Dragon Quest VIII. I have it on the 3DS, and I enjoyed the time that I've put into it. I haven't gotten very far in it at all, but I do enjoy it. The characters are hilarious. I can't remember what is his name. The guy that you meet in the beginning. He's like, "Oh, governor."
Yangus, yes.
Yeah, Yangus. Yeah, he's hilarious. I thoroughly
the entire
enjoyed
game.
But what did 9 change? What did you not like about it?
So 9 was made, for the 3DS. So you got a weird kind of backstep from PS2 to 3DS, and I guess on paper they're probably pretty similar hardware wise. But the thing that I didn't care for with 9 overall was a perfectly fine game. By Dragon Quest standards, I think it took a step back because there's only one main character. And the rest of your party is then filled out with, I think it's Patty's Pub or something like that. And you go and recruit generic pre-made characters to fill out your party. So that whole party dynamic is completely gone. There's no character progression. Your main character does go through a little bit, but yeah, it lost quite a bit with that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like, especially in these later Dragon Quest games, like a big part of them is story building within your party, and like character building,
and backstories and motivations and the core gameplay was all there, but everything else was lacking.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't. There's much better Dragon Quest experiences, especially on the 3DS alone, because it's got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, and 8. Yeah,
any of them are better.
I have 7. I've never played it, but I do have that one as well.
Okay. 7, I got halfway through and for some reason put it down. I don't exactly know why.
I think if I remember right, isn't 7 ridiculously long?
It is. From one person told me it's like 200 hours. And it was a PlayStation 1 game. So it has this kind of weird, that isometric over top view, which kind of makes me a little nauseous. They fixed it a little bit for the 3DS version, but
is Is it like Trails or I'm sorry, the Sky games, kind of like
A
that?
little bit. I know that's been the comparison, and then the original comparison was, like I said, I only dabbled in the 3DS a little bit, and I think they did fix that. It looks more akin to the remakes of 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check it out because I like those old school JRPGs, man. I really enjoy the sprites. You know, like that look is really cool to me. Even when they take it and they do it like a 3D-esque style, kind of like the Trails series did back with the Sky games.
Yes, those are amazing. I felt like the remakes they did for 4, 5, and 6 were top notch. Like that's the way to do those old type games. Maybe until we get the DQ3 2D HD remake, which may be the new standard on how to do these games.
That was what I was just about to ask you about. Was how do you feel about that? Because when I first saw that, it was funny because Nate has been streaming Dragon Quest 3 on Twitch.
Okay.
So I told him, I was like, "Oh, see, you're an influencer."
Yes. The Switch version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That also got that same treatment, like, you know, kind of made for mobile, but then also upped a little bit for consoles, and what they did a great job with those too. But 3, I never got to play as a kid. Like 2 and 3, you never even saw in stores growing up. So I've heard such good things about 3 over the years, and this will be my very first time experiencing it whenever it does finally come out, and I'm super excited to get into that.
For sure. Oh, I'm sorry. He's been streaming the NES. I think it's Dragon Warrior 3.
Oh, okay. So really old school then.
Yeah, super old school. So I was like, man, well, if you play the HD upgrade, it's going to be like a huge jump.
Oh, yes. Kudos to him for going for that version of it, because those are, I think that was kind of like one where you had to like press door for door and stairs for stairs.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Oh, and speaking of that real quick, man, I loaded up Leisure Suit Larry 2 the other day just to mess around in it. And holy shit, those old adventure games, like having to type, okay, talk. And they're like, who are you wanting to talk to? You can't just talk to it. You're talking to air. And I'd be like, okay, talk to bartender. And then it would talk to the bartender.
Wow.
And
yeah.
So many things.
Pressing the door button and there's no door there. Yeah, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. It's those mechanics. I'm glad that things evolved past those mechanics.
Well, they had to. I mean, that's where it had to start. So that's okay. As long as it didn't stay that way.
So, who is your main party in 11? Like, who do you go to?
Towards the end of the game, I guess if we're talking once you get Hendrik, I like to have him in there. So I played through it. You know, this is kind of, we talked about this last time. We just so happened to kind of be playing through it again. I picked up this and started playing it again. And I just got to the second act. So I'm rebuilding the party. And once you get Hendrik, for me, it's hard to get him out because I actually put him at the front. And with his defense and like with the shield and everything, let him kind of be the tank. Yeah. You know, obviously the hero, you can't take him out. You got to have your mage and then that fourth character. So I guess it's, you know, Serena once. Sad times. We'll talk about Veronica later, I guess. But yeah, Serena, and then I usually Jade. And that's my go-to. Like, you can put Eric in there at any point in time, especially if you're monster hunting, and he gives you advantage. Like, you can really make him breakable. Like, he can go crazy. So I kind of like to keep him out. And I was using Sylv a lot in the first part of the game with his whip, but he I feel like he kind of falls behind strength-wise of the other characters. It's hard to keep him in there.
Yeah, towards the end of the game, Sylvando kind of fell out of my party, except when I was slime hunting, or metal slime hunting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of the pet power that Jade and Hero have. I think my party mostly consists of Hero, Hendrik, Jade, and Rab.
Okay.
And that was because I spent a lot of time on Slime Island, so like my characters were damn near all maxed out.
Okay.
And Rab with claws has like a 5 or 6 hit combo thing called Animal, and then Jade's got one called Fast Feet or something like that, where she kicks like 4 or 5 times. So I had all these people who could do either heavy hits or whatever, and I would just be able to deal a lot of damage because I had Hero dual wielding, and then I had Hendrik with a great sword until I started getting axes, and then I had him dual wield axes. So I was just a damage powerhouse. You know what I mean? Like I was melting
Absolutely.
bosses.
I think that's the best thing is like you could come up with any party and make it strong if you want to, because the game is so flexible in how, with like I said, with the dual wielding, or you could go the swords and shield route, more defense, or just like you said, kind of just overwhelm them with offense to where your fight's over before the guy can even really hit you.
Yeah, and that was always my goal, man. Persona 5 got it in my head: kill before you're hit.
Yes.
Do your best to kill before you're hit. Now, when I was metal slime farming, I would have Sylvando, Jade, Hero, and Eric.
Okay.
So I would do that pep power, and I did this mostly in the castle towards the end of Act 2.
Okay. Is it Inferno Castle? Is that right? I haven't got there again. So I know
so.
the one. I know the one you're talking about there at the end.
Yeah, because you could get Metal King slimes there. So
oh yeah, and Hatchet Man.
yeah, I would spawn those in, and I would see that one, and I would immediately. Eric would go first because he had the most deafness, and I would use his move that's like 60-something PP, but it crits every time.
Yes.
And I would just use that on the King slime. Boom!
There you go.
And reap rewards. Now, it was always King slime and 2 liquid metal slimes. So
okay.
I would try to do my best.
100,000 something experience.
Oh, yeah. It's ridiculous. And I would do that for, a couple hours and just get 10, 15 levels.
But I was listening to the other at least part 2 there, and that seems like that's the majority of your playthrough is just slime hunting.
Yeah, man, I love killing slimes. I do.
There's more to the game than slime hunting, my friend.
I know. I've actually been costume hunting.
Yes.
Recently.
I wanted to ask you about like how incredible the costumes are and what a great feature. Like once you get the equipment, you don't have to hang on to it, and you don't have to be wearing it in order to put the costume on. You can be whatever you want once you've collected those pieces. An outstanding addition to this definitive edition.
Yeah, absolutely. The one that I wish I still had that was apparently Switch only was like the Jon Snow looking one for Eric, because it was a really cool looking outfit. But
I'm drawing a blank on what Jon Snow is. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jon Snow. It was like the dude from Game of Thrones. It was just like a very Game of Thrones looking wolf, like a wolf. Yeah, I've never seen it, but that's just what I've heard the outfit referred to as.
I got you. I got him in that. I guess the Sultan's outfit or whatever it is from. It looks like a Persian prince or something that he's in. That's probably my favorite so far.
I have the one that I've got him in is the Corsair. Like he looks like a pirate.
So, like, I don't know if you recall my statements on outfits or not. So the first time I play through a game, it has to be standard outfits, and then the second time I can go crazy with it. So I've been having a lot of fun with this one. Like, only the hero has really kind of stayed in his main one, because I put him in the 8 outfit for a while, and then he gets the one set of armor, which
Dracilian.
Yeah, which I like, but it's so clanky when he's running around. It drives me insane.
Yeah, dude. Chink, 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 chink.
Like, no,
chink,
this has got to go. I can't do it.
Yeah, I had him in the Dracilian armor for a long time, and now, oh man, I don't remember what the armor he's. Oh yeah, I do. It's the samurai looking armor.
Oh,
that you
cool.
Get from Hado.
Okay, gotcha.
That one.
I haven't got that one just yet.
Yeah, I think you get that one once you go back to Hado. in the post game, or not post game. I'm sorry, in Act 2. So you'll get there.
Is there a place to unlock the clown outfits that show up when you're in Savandro's little parade that Hendrik and Rab are in? Do you remember that part? Oh my goodness!
So those
I was
outfits
laughing.
are in the game, but they are not ones that you can get to wear outside of.
That is too. The look on Hendrik's face that he's in a clown outfit, just it's what I would feel if I was forced to look like that.
Just like
Total disdain. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was looking through this list of all the costumes, I saw those, and it was noted that you can't get those for battle and stuff. I was like, damn.
Okay. Just while you're in that parade. That's the only time.
Yep.
That's a sad, but yeah, I mean, the men's are hilarious. The women's are amazing as well, for completely different reasons. It's hard not to get Jade out of the bunny suit, but you gotta persevere and move on.
I actually think I've got Jade in the warrior princess outfit.
Yes, that's my favorite.
And then Serena I have in, I think like the Serenica. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like the Serenica outfit.
Yeah.
Princess
It's
of
hard for
Light
me
or
not to
something.
call her that just period afterwards, since she's basically both of them.
Yeah, dude. I now that I'm in the where you go back in time and all of that, I need to find the accessory that lets you take Serena's hair and make it short again, because I really thought she looked good with the short hair.
Yeah, it was very complimentary.
Yeah, for sure. And like her whole attitude change, like that was really cool.
Yeah.
That was one of the parts of the games that made me tear up a little bit, was when you go and find her playing that harp by the tree.
Yeah.
And that whole thing when Veronica dies and stuff, I was just like, oh shit. Oh, that
It
hit
was
me in the heart.
such a shocking moment the first time, because they don't, death and destruction is kind of commonplace in Dragon Quest world, but like your main party, it may have happened before, but I don't really remember it off the top of my head. So that's pretty big.
Okay, so one of the issues I have with this game is the way that Act 3 just retcons Act 2 immediately. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so I compared it to like Naruto filler. It was like, okay, so Act 2 is all just like character building and filler, but none of it actually matters.
Yeah. Getting the band back together.
Because all my characters, other than Veronica, obviously, were level 99.
Okay. Obviously. Psh.
Yeah, yeah. And I go back in time, and only Heroes level 99 now.
Yeah, I guess for you in particular, that would be more hit a little bit harder than normal people, but
Well, and I'm further than I was on the Switch. Like, I thought I had gotten further than I did on the Switch, but apparently I never even got to the post game.
okay, the draconian trials and stuff.
Yeah, so I'm experiencing all this. So I had no idea that all my work was for naught. So I'll have to go and grind some
man.
again.
Back to Slime Island.
Yes, sir. Back to Slime Island. So what were some of the story beats that really pulled you in this game? Were there any that really like grabbed you?
It's hard not to get drawn into the hero story, just all the way through, right? And I know you guys already talked spoilers, so there's nothing really to go on with, but I mean, his parents taken away at birth, luckily, the people who raised him in Cobblestone. I was so worried that like either Gemma or Amber were going to like die, and then like more heartbreak for him, but coming full circle and getting Jade back and that whole story, like you get sucked into it. And when you go and rescue your father, King Erwin down there in the depths under the castle in despair for 16 or 18 years. I don't know how old the
man,
was supposed to be. I heard you talk about that in particular. That the monster feeding on his despair, right? You're like, golly, like, no, I'm gonna save my dad, and I'm gonna get to see him for the first time. Basically, that it's hard not to really get emotional about that part because it's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. That was brilliant writing.
Yeah. I think some of, with Savandro kind of reconciling with his dad, I think a lot of people can kind of relate to that as you've gotten older. People fall out with their parents and have to make up, and I think that was cool. Like, they didn't harp on issues, but they touched on a bunch of issues, like with Eric and his sister. There was that, a lot of people can relate to that relationship.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of different little things, like the fact that Rab is your grandfather and your party with you. How cool is that? Like, a handful of games like, Grandia 3, your mom's in there for a while in your party, but typically it's not parental people in your party at all times or something bad happens to them.
Yeah. It was funny. I did not even realize that Rab, like, I realized that he was your grandfather because he tells you and all that, but like, I didn't realize that he was a king until the flashback, and I felt like an idiot because I remember he had brought it up before then, and I guess it just didn't register with me. I felt like a dummy.
Yeah, and kudos to him for stepping down. Not just waiting out till he dies on the throne, but letting the younger ones kind of at it. But yeah, I like keeping him in his kingly outfit. I think that looks pretty cool. This bald head running around with his crown on. That looks cool.
Yeah, that's the outfit I keep him in too. The Sun King or whatever I think it's called.
Whatever it is, but I mean, there's a bunch of little story moments that I've stuck with. It's been a while since I played it, so I'm kind of experiencing everything as we're going through. But just overall, like, the story really sucks you in. I love, it's kind of got that Final Fantasy VI, like, you lose, the world goes to ruin, right?
Yeah,
and
that
now
was a big thing for me.
And now you got to, restore it back. You get these two different versions of the world, and I love the games like that. They're too few and far between. Typically, it's, well, nothing's really going on. Like, darkness is covering the land, but it looks like a nice, bright, sunny day. Everybody's going about their business just fine. No, like, there's fire burning. Things are destroyed. Like,
all the creatures are more evil than they were.
Yeah, they've all got the red eyes going around, which I think is a cool look. Obviously, it's just an easy color change, but they all kind of look more sinister that way. Even like the cute little slimes, they're look like they're out to get you.
Yeah, I think they did a good job with that. I really respect, them being like, no, you fail, you lose, like, the world is fucked, and good job on not doing what you were supposed to do. And then you have the chance to write it, obviously. Not to give spoilers for a future episode, but like, there's a game that I played back on 360 that I have in our library called Divinity 2 Eco Draconis.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the game, you find out that, and spoilers, if you don't want to know the ending to this game for a future episode, skip ahead 30 seconds. You find out that the voice that's been talking to you the whole game was the bad guy, and everything that you did helped him, and you are now frozen in this crystal, damned to watch the earth be ruled by this evil ruler, and like, all you did was for naught. You were the bringer of destruction.
Wow.
And I remember me and my buddy Dustin sitting there going, holy shit. What an ending. Like, I hated it when I first played it, but in retrospect, I respect the hell out of that decision.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's unheard of. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Congratulations, you doomed eternity.
I do want to say one complaint that I have, and I think I brought this up on episode 2 a little bit with Dragon Quest, is, man, there are a lot of cutscenes sometimes.
There are. Even more so than ever before. Like, they really fleshed those out. There's a lot.
And there was one time in particular where I watched a cutscene. It was like a 3 or 4 minute cutscene. and then it gives you back control of hero. And I took 3 steps, and it put me into another cutscene.
Yes, those are the worst. Like, just do them all.
I was like, couldn't you have just, sequenced those together and not given me control back for 2 seconds?
Those are frustrating. And so I think, like, it's even more frustrating now because... Are you streaming this as well?
No, I haven't been.
Okay, so, I like to stream my content out there. But the cutscenes are fantastic for bathroom breaks. Like, I've already seen it, let it go. I can run back and forth in 3 minutes, no problem. Except when there is a break like that for 3 steps. And so, the viewers are sitting there looking at the back of the hero's body for a minute or two. Well, I think there's a longer cutscene going on.
Yeah.
Or, the dog's got to go to the bathroom, so I got to let it out, and hopefully it's enough time. In that respect, I liked it, but there's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And I was going to stream this, and then I don't know, I just never did. So I don't know why. I need to get back to it. I'll have to work that out with the new schedule and stuff. But
oh yeah, everything's going to change for you. Yeah.
yeah. I'm not going to be able to sink, 60 hours a week into a game if I need to.
No, you've rejoined reality. So that's not the way it usually works as much.
But I will say I'm gonna do my absolute best to not let it affect the podcast too much. Like,
oh well, you said you got Sunday and Monday, so that works out good for releasing. Recording might be a little difficult, but
yeah, well, it would be just I think we usually normally we record on Sunday nights, so that's not so bad. It's just gonna be getting in the gameplay during the week. I'm gonna have to get in a couple hours after I get off work if I'm not absolutely dead tired. Mm-hmm. I foresee some a lot of 2-parters in
yeah, or 4-parters, a game like this. This is a long one. I wanted to ask you something. I heard you talking about the casino.
Sure.
And you're talking about getting the platinum great sword, and it didn't last you that long. That's pretty standard. Like, you get to you get the best weapon for a while. So, to save your progress, go in the casino, use all your coins, and then reload your save, right?
No. So tell what?
Okay. So what it is you will take all your money, buy as many tokens as you can, go save it, and then go in the casino. So as you bet them all, if you lose them all, just reload your game. Like, you don't have to go through the whole process of, and that saves you a bunch of time. Like, that's been the trick since casinos were introduced in the game. You kind of can always just go save your game and reload it, and then accumulate some more tokens. If you lose them all, well, you just saved, so you're fine. Just go back to that point. And this game was a lot more generous on the jackpot. Like, it only took me about 30 minutes to get all the way through.
Yeah. I never had the need to. I did get into some sticky situations where I had to go sell some stuff to get some more coins.
Okay.
But I never went fully broke, so I never had to reload or really go farm.
Like I said, this game was much more generous. Like, in particular, 8. Like, you might have been able to buy 900 tokens at the very beginning, which is not much. Like, you could lose that near instantly, especially on the 100 slots. But yeah, if you just saved it first and then go and reload, that's always been my trick. So I was able to get all the weapons and Jade's Thunder Lance at the same time. So you get a pretty good little upgrade. But yeah, until I feel like when the casino opens up in Octavania, is that what it's called?
Octagonia.
Octagonia, that's it. Like, I don't feel like those ones were nearly as helpful as the earlier ones in Porta Gloria.
Well, no, because those are run by a fucking demon or whatever the hell it is, and then once you can do all you want in there because you have to get that one item to get through the quest or whatever.
Right.
But you do all you want, you save all up these coins, and then once that part's over, they all vanish because they were fake.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like the weapons don't even. I can't remember what was in there, but I did not spend any time at that casino.
Oh no, yeah. There was a bunch of mystery choices, and like I got one of the mystery choices that was like a significant amount of casino coins, and it was a magic water.
Nice. Great. Useless.
And I was so mad.
That would be horrible. Absolutely horrible. That's actually my very next thing is I just got done Drundersill and I was headed to the Coliseum to go rescue Jade. Which was awesome, by the way. I think you guys touched on it a little bit, but all those character episodes that they put in after the fall, that was really great. Like, I knew that those were in the game, but I didn't know at one point. I thought it would be post-game that you'd see all that. But yeah, it was thrown right in there so you could really see exactly how the characters got in that situation.
Yeah, I like that too. With each character kind of having, it's just more character building. You know what I mean? And I loved it.
Added 2 or 3 hours onto the game at least.
Now, I have to say that I hold this game in pretty high regard. Like, even though I've never beat it, but I'm going to beat it this week. Actually,
You're close, yeah.
I'm very close. I put this game up there with Persona 5. Maybe not better than Persona 5, but maybe tied for a different category. Like, they're both JRPGs, but I feel like that they are also very different. Mm-hmm. So for like that same reason, like I feel like they're on a pretty level pedestal in my head.
No, that's completely fair. For two turn-based, long, story-driven JRPGs, they're very different.
Yeah, which is, a testament to the developers that like, thank you for being different and not just using a cookie cutter formula type thing, you know?
Oh yeah, like I said, I'm an old school fan, and 4 is one of my personal favorite games of all time. And in almost every aspect, obviously it's a modern game, so it should do things well. Like this game is better than that one. Maybe not overall, like story wise. And I love the way part 4 it was broken up into chapters, and then all those characters came together at the end. But it's a complete JRPG experience, and it's hard to do better. Like it's a top 10 all time for me, easy, like no debate whatsoever. And right there, like I said, right there with Persona 5 is like how to do along and Trails of Cold Steel 3 or 4, how you make a game nowadays, and it should be done.
Man, every time I hear you bring up Cold Steel, I'm like, God, I really want to get into that series.
It's only, couple 500 hour experience to get them all. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. And then, you got the 2 that are being translated finally.
Yeah, they're done. It's just a matter of NAS America getting them here. But that's a rant for a different day. Like my next podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So the trailer for Dragon Quest 12 didn't reveal much.
It's a fire and logo.
But I've heard rumblings of them trying something new with the battle system.
Yeah.
And that scares me because Square is making everything action RPGs these days.
Yeah. It scares me a lot. At the anniversary that this was announced at, they talked about it briefs, and it didn't exactly fill me with confidence. I just, so if you look at 11, they did do a little bit different with the, characters kind of moving around a little bit and the freeform camera. So there were some changes in there, but it was still turn-based through and through. And you could play it, the original, you could play it in 2D, for gosh sakes, if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
But 12 could be something new. So what I'm hoping it is kind of the evolution. I don't know how much you're into Legend of Heroes, but with the newest game that's coming out in Japan in the fall with Kuro no Koseki, they are taking their traditional turn-based battle system and kind of just speeding it up a lot. It is still turn-based, command-based, but it is changes. And it actually has, you can play it either action JRPG or you can play it as turn-based. So if Dragon Quest goes that route, which I've seen that game in motion and I love the way it looks, that's okay. If it goes pure action and it ends up being like Heroes or something like that, I'm done. Like, I don't want anything to do with that crap. That is not Dragon Quest. Of all the series that has not changed, Dragon Quest has been the one mainstay. It has not gone Final Fantasy, so
and
they better
on
not.
On the other end, it would be like if a new Ys game came out and it was turn-based.
The same idea, yeah.
People would be like, what the fuck? Like, this... No, Ys is my action game. What the fuck?
Yeah, that'd be very, very odd. Like, I'm sure like Yakuza fans kind of had a similar reaction, to be quite frank.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. But
it's just Judgment is now Yakuza. So
yeah, I was gonna say because that game apparently did so well that they're like, all right, Yakuza's turn-based from now on.
Yeah, but they started another branch of it, so that's a little bit different. But yeah, change has to come. But turn-based has proven itself over the years to have a dedicated fan base that will shell out money without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I don't see them turn their back on it, but yeah, their words weren't exactly encouraging.
Yeah, to me, with Square, it was Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. You know, they're their two big dogs, and it's like they kept getting more and more experimental with Final Fantasy, and they generally left Dragon Quest alone.
Yeah,
and I felt like that was really a good thing, and if they could just keep it that way, you know, back in my day, you know, but I understand that like change is a necessity for business. They got to evolve, yada yada yada. But like you said, there is a proven love for turn-based games, so I don't see the need to steer every goddamn series that you have away from turn-based.
There's so many action RPGs. We don't need any more. And this is not just us talking. So Dragon Quest, above all other games, is Japan. That's their love. Like, you know, it's been talked about before on release dates for Dragon Quest games. It's a national holiday. So things are shut down because nobody will go to work. Like, this is a big deal, and turn-based is a part of that. So I really don't think they're going to, and I hope they don't. Obviously, we're a long ways away. Like, 2 to 3 years easy before this game is a reality for PS5, but we'll just wait and see.
Do you think that there will ever be a game that comes out over here that would become a national holiday for release date? Like, that is so mind-boggling to me.
Like, I think in its heyday, Madden came close. Working in a GameStop and seeing the craziness that went on every year for Madden, because that's a part of it too. Is, you know, games that come out ever so often. Like, obviously that's a yearly series, and it turned into that. But Dragon Quest is every couple of years. Obviously, it's gotten a little bit further along now. But I can't. I don't know. I'm sorry. Which one were you going to say?
I was going to say the only thing that I could maybe think of would be like Elder Scrolls.
Possibly, but I mean, you're talking about something millions of day one. So there's not many.
That's just mind-boggling to me. But it's a testament to how fucking good Dragon Quest is.
It is, and how beloved. I mean, you're like us, you know, or like myself, like growing up with that series. That's why people, you know, my age and younger and / a little bit older, it's been their entire life. It's been there. Like, I don't know if you saw the Netflix movie, but it's very much talking about that idea that this is something that's grown up with us and it's a part of us, good or bad. That's the way it is.
And I was always the Final Fantasy kid, you know what I mean? So, like, when I dabbled in Dragon Quest, it was an 8 on my 3DS, but it's the 3DS, you know what I mean? So, it's kind of a small screen. Now that my PC is good, I could probably emulate 3DS, cough, but and play it on a decent scring.
That'd be nice.
I could cough, emulate PS2, cough, and just play that version. And it would be better, because I've always heard great things about 8. But
8's great.
true Dragon Quest experience was 11.
Okay.
And,
It'd be hard to go back. It really would.
But see, that's the thing is like that doesn't usually bother me. Like especially with RPGs, like going back to one that maybe the graphics suffer or the gameplay is a little different and changed. It really doesn't bother me all that much.
Okay.
The only thing that gets me sometimes is the speed of battles.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking of Final Fantasy IX in particular.
Okay.
Battles are so slow at first.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you can adjust the ATB though.
Yeah. Yeah. But like before I knew that, you know what I mean? Like
no, yeah, I get it. Yeah, just as their default value, they are slow.
When I was younger, like I always loved 8. You know that. And
I've heard. Yeah.
My buddy Emmett was always like 7 and 9 are both better than 8, and I'd be like, go fuck yourself. Even though objectively that's true.
Your friend is a wise man, by the way. I'm sorry.
No, and that's fine. You know what I mean? That's fine. I understand that 8. I have a weird relationship with that one because it was my first Final Fantasy, and my brother gave it to me.
Yes.
So like I've got the nostalgia and the good feelings with it. But I really look forward to diving into 9 now that I'm a little older and able to know about ATV and those types of things that like the quality of life changes that are there in the newer versions.
Yeah, 9 is one of the ones I'd really love to play on the PC with the with that mod on there and everything. Just, I mean, the game looks phenomenal. Like, it's what your mind's eye thinks the game looked like, even though it was a jaggy mess on PS1. Like,
yeah,
what they're able to do now with mods to make things look and these old games look incredible is I really love that.
And I am an advocate all day for mods.
Those type of mods, yes, absolutely.
Like, is anything that make like you take these old games because that's what pissed me off the most about that FF8 remaster release.
Oh God,
was I had been playing the modded FF8 and then I bought the remaster and I'm like, oh, it looks exactly like what I had for free,
and it's in 4x3.
Yeah. So I was just
I don't understand. So we get all these remasters. Right, and we pay money for them, and then some dude spends a year working on a mod, and it looks better than what these developers did.
Yeah,
why don't they do that? Why we're so willing to buy these remasters sight unseen, and they look marginally better. Like Legend of Mana that just popped out. Like I think that looks incredible, but it could look better. It could look a lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah. The Kingdoms of Amalur re-released, the Re-Reckoning or whatever it was. If you go and look at the comments on Steam and stuff, people are like, well, you can't really call this a remaster. Like, it doesn't look all that much better. They're like,
wow.
they added some newer resolutions and a field of visions or a field of view slider.
Well, that's it.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a little prettier. Like some things are shinier, darks are darker, but it wasn't this massive graphical jump that people were expecting. No. And I don't know. I think that
I think a lot of that is because it was a PlayStation 3 game, so it was already pretty good. When we're getting our PS3 to PS4 remasters, it's one thing. When you go back to PS1, you really got to remake the game. It can't just be a new coat of paint on it. It's got to be almost done from the ground up.
Absolutely. Oh, well, sir, it has been about 45 minutes, and I don't want to keep you too terribly long. Is there anything about 11 that you would like to bring up? Anything you wanted to touch on that I may have missed?
Not particularly, other than that for whatever reason, maybe I was dogging on some other ones before. This is the definitive edition. I think I didn't realize there was as many changes as there actually is. Like there's a wiki page for it. And when they were publicizing this game, the big thing was the orchestral music and the 2D mode and having all 4 party members on the screen, which is huge. Like that changes the entire game, is seeing your party run around with you, right? But
yeah, totally.
New content changes I'm looking at like a list of like 30 or 40 things on here that I didn't know, and I'm in the business, right? So they should have done a much better job promoting it, and I would have promoted it even harder. Should this game have been this way to begin with? Absolutely. But if you're I waited for it, and I think I got it for like $25. So that's a big difference too. If you're going to spend $60 on the original and then $60 on the definitive edition, that's one thing. But me getting it for $25, I feel much better about it and can embrace it and love it.
Yeah, for sure. I know some of the quality of life changes that I really liked was the ability to use the forge wherever.
That's huge.
That is wonderful.
I didn't even know that. Sailor. So I saw that on the list. I was like, oh, actually, yeah, I didn't recognize that.
Oh, yeah. Anytime you're running around, if you hit start, you can use the fun size forge.
I'm still running back to the camps to use it. So, you can zoom to them, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
The one thing for sure is when you are forging and able to buy the items as you're forging. I mean,
yes.
My goodness, that's huge.
Yeah, just like, oh, you don't have this, would you like to spend 2,000 gold? Yes, I would.
Well, yeah.
Yes, please, thank you. And then the horse hailer is nice. I don't remember in the original. Did you get the abilities like nose for treasure?
That's a long time Dragon Quest, so I don't recall. If you didn't like Genghis, that was his thing, right? He was a bandit, so he had nose for treasure, and that was the whole game. But so I don't think it was in the original though. I may be wrong.
Oh, it's just I'll have to check that list out for the last episode, which this should be the ending of the last episode, I believe.
Okay.
So it'll be the Dragon Quest wrap up and stuff. I've really enjoyed my time with it. Before this interview, you would have heard my thoughts on the final bits of the game and stuff. So whatever future Dalton said is also true for past Dalton, which is me now. Because that doesn't come out till next weekend.
Gotcha.
But that'll be today for whoever's listening to this. So hi, people in the future. Ooh. I hope the world's still around.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe done.
Maybe the dark spawn came and destroyed it again.
Jerk.
We'll never know.
But yeah, that's all I got. That's I think we've said our piece, and it's kind of nice to talk with you and not like have to go through back to the game. You guys did that for us. We didn't have to spoil everything. Just talk about what we loved about it. And there was a few things that could have been improved, of course, but overall, top notch, 9.5 out of 10 at least.
Yeah, the good definitely outweighs the bad, and I would agree with the 9.5. Absolutely. Well, I think this was a good episode.
We'll let them decide, though. They may have turned it off 20 minutes ago, so.
That's fair, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Thank you for listening to the Dragon Quest XI saga. James, thank you for coming and talking to me here on the end of this episode. Go ahead and plug your stuff real quick, good sir.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure, sir. JRPG Report. Each week we do the podcast. You can check us out on every listening platform, creative ever. That's the way we do it. Also, we got the YouTube channel, so you can check out weekly trailers that pop up for every JRPG out there that I can get my hands on. I post it on the channel along with gameplays. We do live streams each night. Like right now we're playing through Dragon Quest XI's Definitive Edition Superstar Mode, whatever it's called. You can check that out most nights. I get started around 9:30 or 10 if you want to really see what this game is all about. And that's how you can find us. Social medias, of course, Facebook and Twitter, JRPG Report.
For sure. And you can find everything you want to do with the Steam Machine Podcast at thesteammachinepodcast.wordpress.com. There's links to the merch site. There's links to the Patreon. If you'd like to support the show, that would be me and a huge deal. There is links to the social medias of your choosing, Twitter, Facebook. Don't have an Instagram. Probably should have an Instagram. Too lazy to run an Instagram.
I'm the same way. I've got one, but I haven't used it in years. So,
yeah. Any of the links that you need are on there. steammachinepodcast.wordpress.com. You can also listen to each and every episode on there. Stream them from the website. Other than that, man, I ain't got shit left. So I do appreciate you all listening. James, again, thank you for coming on, sir.
My pleasure for having me.
And as always, guys, take it easy.